Today, I thought I could talk about last night. I did an open mic and they gave me like 3 to 5 minutes to give a talk. So it was like a very short, concise talk. So I thought the topic I picked last night could just elaborate a little bit more of it on it today. And last night, I was talking about how our feelings are messages that our intuition is communicating to us through our feelings. And one of the greatest ways to know if a relationship is aligned is if I'm taking good, healthy steps along my life, is how do I feel? How do I feel as I make choices? How do I feel as I spend time with people? And does it feel like I'm settling for in a partner? Am I settling for less? Does it feel like I rushed into this relationship because I don't want to be alone? Does it feel like I'm trying to meet cravings and desires I'm feeling rather than actually taking the time to get to know someone? Or did I just generally fall in love with this person and I wasn't expecting to be in a relationship, but now that I've gotten to know this person, I can't imagine my life without them? Right? That's two different sides of things. Am I taking things slowly? Am I being discerning? And if I get to know someone and I go, I feel like there might be someone better out there for me, or I get to know someone and and you feel like, I just don't feel like they fully resonate with me or fully understand me how I would like to feel how I'd like to feel in a romantic partnership. Or they have a lot of hobbies and interests that I don't really like to do, or I don't like to spend time with, and I just don't really see it working. Or maybe they're super religious and I'm not really into Christianity or whatever, or like Hindu or Muslim or whatever religion they're in, and I just don't see myself really enjoying this relationship long term, right? Those aren't judgments, though, those are intuitive hits. The difference between an intuitive hit or discernment and a judgment is accuracy. And if it's true, it's not a judgment. And you're not judging someone by spending a day with them or going on a date with them and going, nope, not the one, right? That's just how sharp your discernment is. And a lot of times people have the realization of, I feel like this might not be this person, the right person. And then our people pleasing codependency, the part of ourselves that doesn't want to be alone, goes, give them a chance. Give them a chance. Get to know them. They're not that bad. And when we're still sharpening our discernment, we tend to listen to that voice a little too much. And it leads us spending time in relationships that are unfulfilling, where on the outside, our life might look like we have all the pieces coming together, but on the inside, we go, why the hell am I in this experience? Why the hell am I dating this person? I should break up with them. And then we go, I'm judging them. You're not judging them. That is truth. That is the truth within your heart trying to make you aware of you might not be in the most aligned relationships or be in the most aligned experience. And typically, if we're feeling miserable spending time with someone, or we feel like someone isn't always as affectionate as we'd like them to be when we're dating them, probably someone that we're not meant to be dating. And the more we learn to trust our feelings and trust the thoughts we have spending time with a person, the more our intuition starts to wake up and the more we start to realize how incredibly guided we are once we stop thinking we're judging others and start to realize this might just be what's true for me. And when you say no to someone, when they want to date you or they want to be your friend, you go, I just don't really feel like it's that resonant for me. You're redirecting them to people who they would actually be more resonant and who you would actually be more resonant. And when we start to develop that level of discernment, we start to realize that there is very few people out there that we're actually going to find a complete match with for a romantic partnership. And when we're thinking about finding balance in our life, what you start to realize is as I start to wake up, as I start to fall in greater love with myself, greater love with my life, I start to see more beauty in others. And when we don't have strong discernment, that can lead us to rushing into a lot of relationships very close together. Because we go, oh, this person's so beautiful, so amazing. And we tend to look at all the reasons why it might work and none of the reasons why, maybe this isn't someone I really fully want to be more like. And what we learn by going through that experience is to trust our discernment. And we end up spending time in relationships that aren't fully right till we learn to trust, if I really feel like there might be someone better out there for me, it's probably because there is someone better out there for me. And this person I'm dating right now is just a pit stop on the side of the road. And I get to choose how long I want to spend at this pit stop. And life is not going to rescue me and life is not going to save me. And it's going to be my choice when I choose to take a break from this pit stop and get back on the journey of finding greater connection with myself. Because often there is maybe a tendency of I try and find people to date because it's a distraction from me. And I think this person I'm dating is going to give me something I can't give myself. And you start to realize in relationships that are out of alignment, you can give yourself everything that that other person is giving you. If you want to feel more compliments, you can give compliments to yourself. If you want to find greater connection in your life, what would it be like to take yourself out on dates and connect with yourself deeper? If you want to maybe if you feel like you're craving physical intimacy, what I really believe a craving for physical intimacy with is a craving for deeper connection in our life and also a craving for touch. And a lot of times our mind associates the only way I'm going to get touch is through having sex with people. The only way that I'm going to find connection or vulnerability with something is if I allow them to have sex with me. And sex is like the most I've said this before, but it's like the most sacred thing you can share with another person. And it's the fastest way to become more like another person. And if they have habits and they have patterns that you don't want to be more like, why are you having sex with them? And there's nothing to judge or beat ourselves up or hate on ourselves for choosing, but it's a call to be more discerning. And if I don't want to be more like someone, I should not be having sex with them. Or if I find them incredibly annoying at times, probably someone I'm not meant to be physically intimate with, and probably someone I'm not meant to date. And when we learn to trust our discernment, learn to trust our feelings with another person, even learn to trust our thoughts of, I feel like there might be someone better out there for me. I feel like this might not be the greatest relationship out there, or even the thought of, I want to break up with this person isn't affectionate towards me, this person doesn't really light me up in the way I want to be lit up, and then we go, I'm judging them. You're not judging them. That's your intuition trying to communicate with you. And we go, but I'm comfortable. And oftentimes we avoid change because we go, this is familiar and change is foreign. And for most people who grew up in in a community or in a family that had stronger control patterns, we trend to avoid what's foreign. And I would say even just a natural innate like awareness or perception for humans is to try and stay in things that are familiar. And if toxicity is familiar, then that's what we find ourselves choosing in adulthood more often. And if well-being is familiar, that's what we end up finding more often in adulthood. And like most of the time, the choices we make that are negative in our life came from our parents, came from adults that raised us, came from our community, came from the teachers that we grew up with in school or whatever. And often the people that we spend the most time with are the people that are going to influence you the most. So most of the time, a lot of your patterns or a lot of the things that you do that's chasing toxicity or trying to stay comfortable while avoiding life comes most likely from your parents or whoever you grew up with and spent the most amount of time with. And so there's nothing to judge about the things we do that are healthy or the ways that we ignore our intuition or the relationships we've chosen that were out of alignment or the careers we've spent years in that really didn't fill us up at all with like excitement or felt like was making our life meaningful or valuable, right? We are playing that out to find our way out of it. So as we find our way out of it, the next generations in our ancestral lineage, right? And even if we don't have kids, like if we find our way out of it, it also helps our cousins or anyone else that's connected to us also find their way out of those patterns a little bit easier because we are interconnection. And when you make choices to change and grow, you are influencing all those around you energetically. And people might still grow rather slowly. And that is a journey of, can I love this person? And if I really don't vibe with them, I don't have to spend time with them. But everyone's on their own journey. I'm the supporting actor for everyone else's journey. I'm not the main character in their story, and it's their choice how fast or slowly they want to grow, or how much of the advice or guidance we subtly give to them. They wish to pick up and act on, or they wish to ignore for a while, and so when we're thinking about when we're thinking about how people are showing up, we get to choose who we choose to spend time with. The people we spend time with are going to be the people we're more like. So we want to find people as friends that are somewhat resonant and as partners who are pretty freaking resonant, who we look at and go, fuck yeah, I want to be more like you. And when we're thinking about partners, you're going to meet people who are kind, who you share deep connection with, who are loving, and they still might not be everything you would hope for in a partner. And that you might have an awesome friendship with them, but just because you have an awesome friendship doesn't mean it's going to fully line up if you choose to date them. And that is something that takes discernment, and it takes strength of, I am worth the deepest relationship I could have in this life. And if it doesn't feel like it would be the deepest relationship I have, or I feel really comfortable and safe and loved with this person, but I don't really feel that much passion with this person, I don't have to settle and compromise. I can take the journey of being true to myself and standing strong in my nose. That will only redirect me to someone that is more of a yes. And if you're starting to find people who you feel deep love with, deep connection with, you're probably not that far off from the partner that actually could fully meet you. But it's your choice whether you want to stay in a pit stop with a person and explore the relationship and find out why it's not quite right, or it's your choice to be, I think there might be someone better out there for me. and I'm going to say no to this person in dating them. I can still have a deep, loving friendship with them, but I'm going to take the journey of connecting with myself and finding deeper vulnerability and enjoyment with myself. Because if you can find the greatest enjoyment and vulnerability in like the most simple of ways, or just like in the most simple aspect, which is like relating to yourself, you're going to start to find that more and more in your relationships. How you relate to yourself is how you relate to others. And when we're willing to stand strong in our nose and willing to take the journey of connecting with ourselves, and maybe not rushing into romantic partnerships, or maybe we're spending a little bit more time alone, we start to really feel love for ourselves. We start to really feel in our power, in our sovereignty, in our freedom, that then attracts, right? Someone who's going to be able to fully meet you, but you have to be willing to be discerning. You have to be willing to give no's to people that aren't quite right. And the universe allows you to play out what you want to play out, or allows you to act on what you want to act on. And no one is going to rescue you. No one is going to save you. And this is a journey of a life that you get to choose. You get to choose what you wish to experience, whether you wish to experience some relationships that are okay, may have some love, but there isn't the full level of passion or understanding or connection that you could have if you were willing to say no to those people, that and spend a little bit more time alone and connecting with yourself and taking yourselves out on dates and being strong in your honesty and discernment, that then would actually align you in the greatest level of integrity and the greatest level of vulnerability, that then when the partner of your dreams comes into your life, you could actually fully receive them. You actually could meet them fully how they would want to be met, and meet yourself fully as how you would want, and they could meet you fully how you would want to be met. And we have the choice, whatever in our life feels hard, and or we have dreams that haven't come into our life yet, we get to choose. The universe is not going to rescue you. The universe is not going to save you from your experience. The universe is waiting for your experience to wake you up enough to go, why don't I take action? And some people are very good at taking action or checking things off on their list of things they would like to accomplish in this life, but they're less good at being intentional with what they're acting on, right? Like, I started a family and built the life of my dreams, but I built it with the wrong person. That's one imbalance. The other side of the imbalance is I'm very intentional, but I'm so intentional that I don't act enough. And that's more of my orientation of like, by the time I was in my early 20s, I felt like very good in, like, I pretty much entered sobriety from any patterns from most of the patterns I had, and felt very good about my internal experience. But I kind of would overly focus on my internal experience, overly meditate, overly process feelings, overly analyze the past, and I would ignore the life in front of me. I would ignore taking action steps in my life. And that is the other side of the imbalance. And so, in order to find balance in our life, which balance is harmony and harmony is fulfillment, there's two things to be aware of. One is the intention. Am I being, in which intentionality is honesty and discernment, and am I being discerning in who I'm choosing to date, who I'm choosing to be friends with? With friends, we don't have to be as discerning, right? In a community, like you're probably going to spend some time with people that aren't like, oh my God, this is an amazing person, but you go, oh, it's kind of nice to get to know someone I wouldn't normally talk to. And I might not hang out with them every day or like, but seeing them at community gatherings or even going getting dinner with this friend actually is really enjoyable, right? Friends, we can be a little less discerning, but with partnerships, mm, it really is a journey of the more I'm strong in my nose, the more I will be redirected to someone as a holy shit. I want to be more like this person. A hell yes. Like when we are willing to be discerning, and that is aligned with our intention of I'm not just starting a family, or I'm not trying to achieve all my dreams on this life and make the outside beautiful, but while ignoring how internally this life makes me feel. And the other way around, and then for the other orientation is I'm not trying to make my inside beautiful while ignoring outside responsibilities, while ignoring like, okay, I found beauty in my inside. Now, can I take that beauty and find and put myself out there more? Find relationships that are beautiful by going and doing more outside activities, whether that's picking up a hobby or sports or just taking like dance classes or pottery classes or just being more outside in the world where I can actually meet people. And like some people are very good at doing and they're not really good at checking in and being alone. And then there's other people that are very good at checking in and being alone, but it can almost become an obsession and it prevents them from then going out and living their life. And I come from the very, very introspective, very aware, and still, and it's a process, but I'm doing a lot better at it of putting myself out there in the world more, trying to build more of a life that I enjoy living. Because we learn that depression and feeling miserable is one part. Am I addressing, am I making sure that I'm taking care of myself, right? Like in high school, I went through a bout of depression, but I was not taking care of myself at all. I was like over masturbating, watching pornography, would watch a bunch of movies every night, and it would drain the crap out of my energy. And then I would wonder why I felt so low energy, so unmotivated, or would live in the fantasies of my mind rather than trying to connect with others, which is what pornography does to you if you choose to watch that. And I would say what even technology and overwatching movies does when you choose to overdo that and avoid actually trying to connect with others. And I would still be really friendly, like at school and like talkative. I mean, I'm scared to talk to people, but when people started talking to me, I would like, for the most part, or try my best to be talkative to them too. But I never really made an effort, or I didn't really try that hard of connecting with the people around me as I would have if I was more mindful of how I was taking care of myself. And then there's the other orientation of I take pretty good care of I take, or the other orientation of I take good, I'm really good at connecting with others, but I use others as a way to avoid connecting with myself. And I try and build a beautiful outside life while ignoring how this life makes me feel. And like when we're thinking about goals, am I in a job that maybe I'm making a ton of money and I'm miserable? Or that feels so soul sucking? Am I in a relationship that looks beautiful on the outside, but on the inside, I'm questioning why I'm in this relationship or why I started a family with this person? And when we start to learn and trust those internal naggings of, this might not be quite right, and when we start to learn and trust or start to become curious, maybe I don't have to be miserable in this job for another 20 years. Maybe this life is a life I get to choose what kind of adventure I'd want to have. And can I start to be curious of what would be more fulfilling to me? And especially if I'm in a career where I'm making a good living, right? I have the resources to develop, and I have at least the financial resources. Maybe I don't have the time to develop a different skill or develop develop something, a side passion that could actually turn into like a different career. Like maybe I really enjoy talking to others, and maybe I don't want to go back to school and become a therapist or something. And this is just like me riffing, so gotta take it with but maybe like this isn't what you desire, but we'll just go with it. But maybe I don't want to go to school, back to school and become a therapist, but maybe I could start a podcast and start like doing a podcast with my friends, and then work to grow that into something that actually, at the very least, could maybe give me a little side income, or maybe it could turn into a bigger passion, or maybe it could lead into a different avenue of something that would actually be more fulfilling in my life. Or maybe I really am inspired by live music. And if it's inspiring to watch something, it also would be inspiring for you to do it. And maybe I could spend, if I have the resources, I could get a guitar, get a piano, start taking guitar, piano lessons, and start sharing covers on YouTube and see where it leads, and be willing to develop different skills, because we don't have to stay stuck in a career that is miserable. There's always another choice if we're willing to explore it, and we might not find the solution tomorrow, but when we're willing to try and be curious and interested in what is out there that would actually light me up, that would actually excite me, there has to be some career that would actually be fully fulfilling to me, that I could fully live off of. And can I take the journey of finding it? Because being miserable and making a living is no fun for anyone. And I have the choice, and I have the power what my life experience will be. And the more we listen to our feelings and our naggings, the more we are putting ourselves out there or trying to create a life that would be more fulfilling. It is that often if we feel uninspired, it's the act of taking the first step. And if you're willing to take the first step, you will find your way, but you have to start the journey. And like, just to close out, if you feel like you couldn't accomplish your dreams and you give up, are often the people that never accomplish what they hope to accomplish. And if we give up, can we try again? Like, a lot of times when I listen to people that had some big dream, of like, the other day I was watching this YouTube channel on this guy who wanted to play professional baseball, and he actually got signed by a professional baseball team and then got cut after a year. Instead of taking the journey of going into the minor leagues and seeing if he could work his way back up, he gave up. And when I listened to him talk about why he gave up, all he listed was why it couldn't have worked. And the chances might be slim, but is your dream worth it? Right? Is your dream worth you giving everything you have to accomplishing it? Or is it the dream, or is it worth giving up and not trying everything you could do to accomplish it, and then wondering what could have been? right? And no one likes to wonder what could have been. And you have to ask yourself, is this dream something that would actually be worth me doing everything I could to try and achieve this? Or is there something out there more that would be more fulfilling for me? And that's a question that takes our own discernment, our own truth. But oftentimes the people that are never achieve their dreams are the people that gave up. And there's like the hockey quote of you miss every shot you don't take. And you're never going to know what could have been unless you actually work your ass off to see if you could have if you could achieve your dreams or not. And the more we are willing to go for things, the less we have to regret in our life. So I hope that helps. Thank you for listening.